Well, hello, 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 and welcome back. This is our sixth episode of Laughter for All podcast, and I cannot believe it. When I first thought about doing a podcast, I was like, what are we going to talk about? Who am I going to have as guest? And is this going to be consistent? And I don't know. Sometimes you surprise yourself because I remember about 8 months ago, I wanted to start a men's Bible study in my house. And and I had four guys in mind that God put on my heart and said, you know what, those are the guys that I'm going to have in my Bible study. And I go, well, after the third week, I'm going to run out of stuff to say. They might get bored. They're going to stop coming. They won't show up. But you know what? By Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, it's going to be our 16th gathering. We meet every other Wednesday at my house. 16th gathering, and they show up, and they love it, and they come back. I, I don't know. So whatever you think you're gonna do, don't discard it by saying, "Oh, I probably won't be consistent." Because that's one of the things I feel of myself. Am I not consistent? But I guess I am. Well, let me tell you what happened with me this week. It was great. On Thursday, I flew into Sacramento again, and I did a show for Salem Radio. They had over 1,000 people, and something happened that really was exciting. Is I connected with a friend of mine that I grew up with in Kuwait. See, I was born in Israel. I grew up in Kuwait. And when I was 19, I left Kuwait. And when you leave the country where you went to school at, you can kiss your reunions goodbye. You know, hanging out, having lifelong friends. That's gone. It's completely. You know, when I came here to University of Toledo, I didn't know anybody. I did not know any friends. So for for me to connect with someone that I've went to kindergarten through sixth grade with was just amazing. I remember that guy. His name is Nidal, and when I first got married and I came to this, when I brought Maha, my wife, to California, he was living in San Francisco, so we went and connected for the first time since he left Kuwait in sixth grade, and we were best friends, and so we connected with him and his wife and two daughters, and he was not a believer. He was not a serious Christian at the time. So anyway, we connected. Then we lost touch. He moved to Sacramento. He becomes a Christian. He gets involved with the church. He gets involved in the refugee ministry, which I already have a refugee ministry for 10 years in Anaheim that I've, co-founded and been working and still the chairman of the board. And it's so funny. We connect for lunch and it's just boom, nostalgic feelings, connecting with each other for the first time, for the second time, and it's just amazing. It was a good half an hour, and we're gonna connect soon. So this is a privilege that we get when you're living, or when you move out of where you went to school with, yeah, or if you don't live in the same city where you run into people you went to school with. Like my kids all the time. Oh, they go to Chick-fil-A or they go somewhere. Oh, he was in my class and she was in my class. I can't do that. So that was exciting. So Thursday night we had a great show. I was working with a guy. I don't know if some of you remember him. His name is Dave Dravicki. He was a Giants pitcher, famous Giants pitcher. And what happened is he had cancer in his arm, and then it was healed, and he came back. And then after a season, he was pitching, and it's on YouTube where he just look, his arm was completely just separated. I mean, it wasn't separated completely, but he was in severe pain, and they ended up amputating his arm. And this man has a great, great testimony, great about, you know, how the Lord Jesus just took him through that. Him and his wife Jan's amazing. They live in the heart of San Francisco, which is, I want to encourage everyone. If you're a believer and you're a strong believer, move to where the action is, where the spiritual war is. Don't run from California. Don't leave California. And that will lead me to what I did Friday. So I finished the show with Salem Radio on Thursday night. We had a great over 1,000 people. And I drove the next morning for 4.5 hours to Bakersfield. And my son John drove up to Bakersfield and picked me up from the airport where I dropped the car and took me to the show. And our team, all, Robert and Tim and Pastor Mike and Brett and all of them drove up and brought all the stuff. And we did the Laughter for All Bakersfield. We had about, over 1,000 people. And 800 of those people committed to share Jesus with 7 people in the next 12 months. That's our California, Change California campaign that we have for the next 6 years, for the 7 years. We want to be able to empower people to share their faith with others. We call this the Change California, Change a Nation, because we believe only Jesus can change California. We don't believe it's politics, it's anything else. It's the Lord Jesus can change California. And He's able, and He's changed situation. He had revivals in this country before. He can do it again. And it happens by people, Christians, going out and sharing their faith, not leaving the state. And I had one lady came to me after the show on Thursday night. She said, I came to the show and I was praying today, me and my husband, should we leave California or should we not? And she said, you just sealed the deal for us. We're staying. Don't run. Don't run. It's a spiritual war, and God knows if you're a military, in the military, if your general or if your superior tells you to go fight in a certain area, he knows you're qualified for it. So if you live in California as a Christian, as a believer, you're here for a reason, and there's no reason for you to leave when the going gets tough, when it gets hotter. Oh, there's too many, morally. Well, do something about it. Don't just run to where it's safer and it's quieter and you can be lukewarm. No, you can move to California, stay in California. And I want to encourage you, if you're listening to me from other states and you're like, I'm sick and tired of the way California is going, well, move here. Come here and come do it. Why am I not being funny right now? I'll tell you why. Because the next day after that, we did the show. We had several families come forward with their kids to receive Christ at the end of the show. After I gave the invitation, it was amazing. Praise God for that. And then we drove that night, and the next morning, I took my daughter, Carol, to UCLA, and we dropped her at the dorms. For any father with younger daughters, get ready, buddy. You're going to cry. You're going to need tissues. It's going to be difficult. I mean, I've done it before with John. We dropped John, and it wasn't easy either. It was hard. It was one of those, like, I don't cry. I'm not a person that cries, but, man, tears were coming out. When you take your kids and drop them at the dorms, it's like returning a leased car that you love and walking home. You know what I mean? They don't give you another baby. It's not like you say, they're going to give me, here's a new daughter, just raise her and bring her back when she's 18. No, they let you go, and it's like you come home and the room is empty, and all her makeup, all like 4,000 square feet of makeup was gone. And John, when he left, he took some clothes, just jackets and clothes. And now, with Carol, I need 3 trucks loaded with stuff to drop her at the college. It wasn't hard. It was hard. And all her lip gloss that we found under the bed after she left. In fact, I'm having a garage sale just for lip gloss right in my house next Saturday, if you guys want to. But it was hard. It's hard for any parent to let their kids go to college and drop them at college, even though it's about an hour away with no traffic and 10 hours with traffic because she's in LA. But speaking of parents and speaking of laughter and speaking of social media, my guest today, I'm so excited to introduce her to you because she's a very funny lady, and she's an expert. And I want to introduce her professionally. Mary Barnett, also known as Mobile Mary, in the industry is a highly sought after mobile, social, and digital marketing strategist. Strategist, I said it right, a radio show host and speaker, and the owner of a certified small woman-owned business called Another Brilliant Idea. Okay, she's a mobile social digital marketing expert. She's the president of the American Marketing Association Inland Empire chapter for 2 years now. She's a 2018 NAWBO Legacy Award winner. She's the founder of the Brilliant School Apps and the Brilliant App Academy. She's the founder of Social Expert Camp and Calendar. And she's also the wife of for 31 years and a mom of 3 brilliant kids. And I know, welcome to the show, Mary.
Thanks, Naz.
Thank you for being here. Yes.
Oh, I love the crowd that's in this studio. They're amazing.
We cram
and they're
them.
beautiful.
We cram them every week.
I love it. I love it. They're all beautiful people, I can see.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I know we did something together a few weeks ago at Crossroads, and I wasn't expecting you to be funny. It was like you're talking about social media but you were so funny. I was like, and I came to you after the show. I said, you need to do comedy. You were so funny. So welcome. Let's officially welcome. Welcome to this. Thank you for being with me.
Thank you so much. That's awesome. And my joke when people tell me I'm funny, I'm always like, well, looks aren't everything.
Bada boom. What do we have on this list? It said text.
Well, you mentioned that. Is this going to be filmed? Are we on?
We are live.
Camera?
We
awesome.
are live.
So I just brought this little thing because I'm always a marketer, and we're going to be talking about social and how to help people really feel confident in how they show up, so they can really be seen as the expert in their industry. And so I was just going to offer, when we got to that point, a way for people to actually get some help for only $1. So we can talk about that later, but I just wanted to be prepared. So I brought a little, little sign.
You're so wonderful. That's marketing. That's what it is. Mary, where were you born?
Where was I born?
Yeah.
In Long Beach, California, at St. Mary's. So they named the hospital after me.
Oh, St. Mary's.
Yes.
So they named you. I'm glad it wasn't San Marcos.
Right?
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
Exactly.
Oh, wonderful. And you grew up, you went to UCLA.
I did. In fact, I lived very close to where your daughter is living now. She's in some fancy place, Summit, where I was just at Hedrick Hall, which is, old school.
It's right, they're right next to each other.
Yeah, they must have built, I haven't been there in a while. They must have built a new facility for
And
her.
it looks exactly the same as the old facility.
Really?
Because they're both building, they're the same. One is called
seriously?
Hickman, one Hickman
gosh.
Summit. But
yes, it was top of the hill, so she'll get her exercise walking up that hill every day.
That's what she was saying. She said, Dad, I'm going to be walking 2 miles every day to my class.
Yes.
This is it's a country. It's not it's bigger than Kuwait. I'm serious. 45,000 students.
Yes.
And they had all these restaurants and fancy stuff.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, you're paying for it, so
it
better be
am.
fancy.
So your daughter, how many kids? You have 3 kids.
I have 3 beautiful children, yes. In fact, that bio is a little bit old. I'm now 32 years married to my wonderful husband, but I still have the 3 kids.
You still have them?
Yeah, we still have those.
So we didn't drop him here.
No,
we figured you still have them.
They're still on the good list.
And
yes.
how old is the oldest?
Haley is 25, Cameron is 21, and Grace will be 18 next month.
So
it's the big year, all the big birthdays.
Did you drop him at college before?
Yes, so I feel your pain. We drove, our oldest went to NAU, Northern Arizona University, so we drove all the way out to Flagstaff, which is beautiful.
Beautiful.
And yeah, we basically left her, but she was close enough to be able to get on a train and come back in 6 hours, which was cool. My youngest is actually considering a school in Savannah, Georgia, which you don't think is so far until you look at the map.
It's far.
It's far. It's like on the other coast, oh my gosh, right above Florida, wow. But it's a school, I think, that we're going to go do they have a little orientation in San Diego next weekend. So we're going to go check it out. But it's called SCAD. I don't even know what it stands for, but it's for creative arts. So she wants to work for Disney or Pixar or the Marvel universe. She's very much into that and is a very good animator. So she's hoping to kind of get into that. So
wonderful.
Exciting,
so, I know my daughter, we had to really, by the time, we needed to get her a 1 dorm room with 2 other girls and also a 4 car garage to put her stuff in.
All the lip gloss?
All the lip gloss, all the makeup and stuff. And I'm sure you have to move all that stuff to Savannah, Georgia.
Well, it's amazing how much they leave at home. Like when it comes to push to comes, they bring just what they need, like one lipstick, and they leave the rest at home to come back and get, and along with their laundry. And so you're close enough to get that laundry back. So she was far enough away that she had to do her own laundry. So
Oh yeah, she's gonna come back. I slept in her room last night. That's a little sick. I was like, oh, and then
'cause
I
you
go,
missed
man,
her.
I should have exchanged those mattresses long time ago. This is very comfortable. No
told
wonder
you it
this
was
kid sleeps
fancy.
till noon.
right.
So, what got you into marketing and all that?
Oh my goodness, gosh! I don't think I've ever not been in marketing. As a young child, I raised rabbits. I was in 4-H, and I had.
What? You were
I
what?
know it sounds weird, but I raised rabbits.
You raised rabbits?
I did in this club called 4-H. They're just like a big like farming whatever.
Farming club.
But I was in Anaheim, so it really there was a big disconnect there. But I just love animals. I had a duck and a guinea pig and rats and turtles and
You had rats?
I did. They're really smart. I would carry them on my shoulder with a little this is TMI. Their little tail across looked like a choker, and when I would actually bring them to Catholic school, the nuns wouldn't even know that I had a rat underneath my face. It was awesome. And my favorite story is when they had show and tell, and of course I raised rabbits, and to be able to feed them, I had to sell them, which means they had to reproduce to make more, which isn't as easy as people say, by the way. So.
Oh, really? Rabbits? I thought they're like,
No.
they have kids like rabbits.
Right? Exactly. There's a saying, but I think that's a fallacy. So I won't go into all the details.
Yes,
it's a
this is
PG show. But I remember going to the front of my class, I think it was in 4th grade, and in accurate detail, I shared how rabbits make more rabbits. And the nuns, all the kids were engaged. The nuns were like, I'm like, and that's it. They're like, oh my gosh, like, put away your stuff. Yeah. So I did that. But then, like, again, my parents were very entrepreneurial. So to be able to feed the rabbits, I had to, again, make more, sell them, blah, blah, blah. So I wanted to do something fun. So I used to have, like, backyard carnivals. And I would have to market it to, like, the neighborhoods. And so I made a little parade with all my little animals dressed up. I know it sounds like not true, but I have witnesses. And so, like, I always was doing that. Then I was ASP president of my high school, and then in college.
Wait. I have to stop you. You dressed up those rats and bunnies and made
Actually,
them...
just the rabbits and the duck.
And the duck, you dressed
the
them
rats
in
didn't
what?
really want to be
Like what
dressed
kind of clothes?
Well, like little vests and like little necklaces, and I put them in little wagons, and the bunnies would be in a cage.
So it's like it's not
saying it out loud.
It's
it
rabbit
makes it sound
trafficking.
so-
That's what you're doing.
Pretty much,
Animal
pretty much.
trafficking.
Pretty much.
That's going to be the next thing.
Except that I would interview all of my buyers at Ralph's grocery store where I marketed them. And if they said they were going to buy them for their snake, I would say, they're not for sale anymore.
Oh.
So I was very
people buy-
particular. I didn't move a lot of sales. I didn't move a lot as.
So you stood in front of Albertson like Girl Scouts do now?
Yes.
And you sold live rabbits.
$10 a pop.
Now that's illegal to do that now.
Is it really?
I think
Okay,
so.
a lot of stuff we did as
California.
little kids is illegal now.
I know. Everything we did
It
is
was
illegal.
innocent. I was like, really? Like, yeah, I know. Like with lemonade stands and again the carnival. Like I always had to make money to like do stuff. I never got an allowance. So if I wanted to do stuff, I had to make the money, and there you go. So it made a marketer out of me.
I hope young people are listening to this. You're amazing. So you became the ASB president, and then what?
Yeah, I'm probably just a type A control freak. Bottom line. So yeah, so I'm bossy. So come on everybody, let's put on a dance. Let's put on a this. So this was always selling, I guess, and marketing the thing. So I joined at UCLA. I was grateful to get in because it took 3 tries. They did not want me. So I was just a little persistent. My mother helped me be persistent. And then I joined a sorority and I became pledge class president, and then I helped with the fundraising. And so it's just one thing after another. And then out of college, I went to work for a big corporation. And my dad was an entrepreneur. He had his own business. And I just remember this one thing really triggered me. I had working for the company probably about 6 months. And when I first came there, they were spending about $10,000. And in 1987, $10,000 a month to make a newsletter seemed ridiculous to me. Now, this was a global company. They could afford $10,000 a month. But I was thinking, that's ridiculous. My husband and I bought a Mac Plus for our wedding this year. I can make a newsletter on my little Mac Plus on a program called PageMaker. I could totally do that. So they're like, knock yourself out. So I brought my little Mac computer every day to work, and for 4 months, I made that newsletter, saved them $10,000 a month. And on the fourth month, the motor burned out because there was no internal fan. There was no hard drive.
Right.
I won't go to all that, but it's just a very simple machine. So I went to the, vice president of marketing, and I had a little bill for $300, and I said, hey, I've been using this Mac for 4 months to save you $40,000. It burned out. Here's $300 bill. Can you help me fix this so I can go? And
Right.
he's like, well, that's not our machine. Right? I was like, excuse me? And he's like, it's not our machine. I'm like, I lock it in your closet every night. Nobody had computers on their desk back then.
Right.
And he's like, well, it's not our problem. And I was like, So I kind of like put a hitch in my giddy up. So
A hitch in your giddy up?
a hitch in my
I
giddy up.
never heard that before. I heard zippity doo dah. I heard a hitch. A hitch.
Put a hitch in my giddy up. Yeah, I was just
What's
like,
your giddy up? Wait, is that a closet? Is that like a place? Where's your giddy up? Is it somewhere where you can TMI? No, it's not TMI.
Well, just like a punch in the arm or a.
Oh, okay.
It was just like a really. That's not cool, man. Like I worked so hard for you. Like this is come on, we're a team, man. Can't we all just get along? And anyway, so I'm going off into way too much detail. But I just was like, So it was a total God thing. My counselor from high school called up and said, would you like this wonderful opportunity to go be a loaned executive for United Way? I'm like, what's that? They said, well, your company will pay for you to be loaned to the United Way to run their campaigns and fundraising. And I was like, oh, I know how to do that. And he's like, yeah, I know. You have a marketing communications degree. Of course you'd be great at this. He goes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really love to leave here and get paid to do so. So I went to work for United Way for like 3.5, 4 months. And long story short, this is way too long of a story. One of the customers that I help, United Way earn money. And by the way, the whole key to United Way's fundraising is book a meeting, show a video, make them cry, hand out the pledge cards, give them a pin. That was it.
Say that
5
again
things.
for people who wants to do. Is this what is it called? That's like marketing or email.
Right, they're fundraising marketing.
Say
So
them
yes,
again,
so
5.
so you book a meeting, right?
Book
You
a
gather
meeting.
people together. They showed them the video
The video about the product.
about the United Way and everything it does for the community, and of course it was very emotional. And so you make them cry, right? And that's a cool, that's a thing with marketing as well, is that you have to touch people from their emotional level. People buy in emotions. Like people love to buy, but they hate to be sold. Right?
That's a powerful statement, people. Listen to this. People love to buy, but they hate to be sold.
That's why Amazon is so popular, because we know what we want and we go and we find it and we buy it. I mean, it's like, boom, right? But we go into a store and they go, hey, are you looking for something? No, I'm cool. You look around, you're by yourself, whatever. And at the very end, if you're frustrated, you're like, need help, you'll ask somebody. But most people, human nature is, no, I got it. Thank you. I know what I want, right? But they don't want me to give you a song and dance. They don't want, right? So that's the key in all forms of marketing, is basically just appeal to people's emotions of what the pain they have or what the pleasure they want. And if you can provide one of those two things and you're speaking to their heart, they will most likely buy from you.
That's interesting.
Thank
That's
you.
very interesting.
Very cool.
When we did when we had this event together, you did a keynote called 5 Ways to Be Social with Your Kids and Grandkids. What are those 5 ways? Just quickly.
Wow, I'm not looking at my notes. Well, the whole point of the Senior Fest was we wanted to help reduce isolation and end depression, or at least alleviate depression a little bit. And so what Doug had asked me to do was show the seniors how to use social media to really open up their world. Because they might be sitting in a room, maybe they're at an assisted living home or place, or even in their own apartment, and their kids have grown up, the grandchildren have gone off, they have their own lives, and everybody loves their grandparents, but life gets busy. And so the grandparents are feeling more and more bitter, like, man, why don't they ever call me, blah, 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 And I'm like, you know what? There's a different way to do it now. Kids don't pick up the phone anymore to call.
Right.
But they'd be happy to text you or happy to, video, like do a video chat or something. But it's just something weird about the culture now that they don't like it. So I said, you have to kind of fit into the social norm right now. And the social norm right now is social. So let's teach them how to be social in a way. And then I gave them some ground rules, like don't be like TMI. Don't share their embarrassing baby story on social media where all their friends can see it, right? But also just how to be encouraging and supportive. And I shared some apps that they could use to have fun and play games back and forth with their kids through text messaging.
Right.
Wanted to provide a way to give them, kind of empower the seniors to be able to create a relationship with their kids and their grandkids that's positive and encouraging. Then the kids want to reach back out to their grandparents and have that relationship. And then they can see their prom pictures and their baby pictures and their vacation pictures online, and they won't feel as disconnected and alone.
Right. And there's a lot of people who are not even seniors, but they're like, oh, no, on social media. No, I don't do social media. I don't.
Right.
But that's the way. That's the language for today.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to play a little bit that I did on social media for a minute.
Okay.
And then we'll catch. I want to ask you a few questions
Sure.
about one of the slides that you had.
Okay.
Funny Friday Moments with Nazareth. He is one of America's top inspirational comedians. Join us here, Fridays for your laughs, fills, and thrills.
But I have 3 kids. I'm a father. And they don't listen to me anymore. My kids don't listen to me. For Christmas, they got me an Alexa. You know that Alexa, that Google stuff, Amazon? You talk to it, it'll do whatever you want. It will turn the lights off. It will do stuff. It will sing to you. It's amazing. I went and bought 3 more. I felt like a Saudi prince with 4 brides. Whatever I want, I tell Alexa. And now they make them in different ones. They have the Russian Alexa now. She spies on you. The Indian Alexa, she puts you on hold for 45 minutes. The African American Alexa, you don't tell me what to do, okay? And then the Middle Eastern Alexa, she comes with an extra cover. And she doesn't talk to men. And of course, the Jewish mom Alexa, how come you didn't talk to me yesterday? I was worried about you. Take a sweater, it might be cold out there. But this technology, the whole technology, you know, Siri, my kids think I'm Siri. Dad, do this. Dad, take me to the mall. What I heard you say, you want to go home to finish your homework. No, Dad, my friends are waiting at the mall. Take me to South Coast Plaza Mall. What I heard you say is your father doesn't have money for you to buy all this stuff. I hate you, Siri. What I heard you say, I'm taking your phone away from you. But I hate Siri. I don't like Siri. Siri wants to deport me. Seriously, the other day I go, Siri, call home. She called, oh, what you said? Homeland Security. No! Don't call Homeland Security, call home. You know, one of the things that you did...
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing from that bit. That's
of course.
Thank you. You're good. You should go into comedy. You're so funny.
You know, I don't laugh at my jokes. I don't laugh at any jokes.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I have to remove myself to laugh at a joke.
Huh.
Every comedian does that because we're trying to figure out why is it funny, what causes it to be funny.
Interesting.
So we're not laughing. Like, I laugh when I write the joke.
Okay.
My wife would look at me, and she got used to it. She's like, I'll be like, I get up in the middle of the night, and I'm like laughing, and I'm either writing or leaving it a message, and she's like, oh, okay, it's him. Something came up. In 2 years, it'll be funny. But you know, we did something. You did a slide that really intrigued me when I saw it. It says, social media channels explained, and we have it on the screen. We're gonna put that social media. And what you did is you said, like, Facebook, like you made it like eating a donut. Like each social media platform is different. Like you have pictures of a donut and said, Facebook, you tell people that I like donuts.
Right.
Which is, you know, because sometimes I mix up, like sometimes I use Pinterest to promote something. Like, okay, Facebook says I like donuts. Now Twitter says I'm eating a donut, which you tell people what you're doing. Pinterest said here's a donut recipe.
Right.
So you provide people, you give some.
It's a search engine.
Instagram, it says here's a photo of my donut.
Right.
And LinkedIn said my skills include donut eating.
Right.
And Google said I'm a Google employee who eats donuts.
Yeah.
Google Plus.
Which is gone now. Right.
It's gone. Google
gone.
Plus is gone.
Yeah, well, the only people who used it were the Google employees.
Oh, it was? I was using Google Plus.
Yeah, I know. We all had it but we never used it.
That's right.
So yeah, it finally went away. But an easier way to understand for the social media is the way I explain in my social expert camp. Actually, is Twitter is like a cocktail party, right? You're there, short little bursts of information, whatever. LinkedIn's like a trade show, right? You're going there for business. You're looking who has what and what they offer, and then Facebook is like a backyard barbecue or a family party. And so you would never walk into one of those places and walk up to somebody at, let's say, the barbecue and say, "Hey, here's a bottle of water. Isn't it nice? It holds 12 ounces and it's really refreshing. You want to buy it? You want to buy it? You want to buy it?" Right? But a lot of new marketers on social media, that's the way they act. They think, I'm told to like blast what I do and just tell everybody about it and just verbally vomit all over them, right? And that's not cool. Like if you're in someone's home or at a barbecue, they'd be like, "Excuse me, can you go?
Right.
We'd like you to leave now, please." So on social media, that's what people do too. They secretly block you. Right? And then nobody sees what you do anymore. So it's really important that we treat other people, and this is shocking, wait for it, like humans. Right? Concept is crazy, right? So automation's awesome, and we use automation as well to help with marketing. We help people build their team and create, like we use tools and training, and team is our main thing that we do. But it's important that it comes down to the conversations and the relationships you have with people. So, doing that, what they call social listening to what people are interested in, what their pain is, right? Or what pleasure they're looking for. And then providing resources. They might not even be yours. Remember the movie Miracle on 34th Street? Do you remember that with, oh gosh, it's really old, but they've remade it a million times. Okay. But basically the concept was, it was at Macy's and they had the Santa Claus, right? And the Santa Claus actually was the real Santa. He got pulled out of a crowd and they made him into the real Santa, and he was like, "Wait a minute, I'm actually the real Santa," but nobody believed him. And so when people had a problem, they'd come up and they go, "I can't find this kind of sweater," whatever. He goes, "Oh, it's down the street at Marshall's," or whatever the other store was. People were like outraged, like the people at the store. But then they realized everyone was so appreciative that the Santa was being so real and so honest and so authentic that they were like, "You know what? I appreciate you telling me where I could get it, but I think I'm going to buy it here." So they had more loyalty for Macy's, right? So the same thing in social media. You could actually provide resources of competitors. Like, you know what? They might have, they might save a little money, but then people will be like, "Wow, you're so honest about that. I'd rather work with you because I know, like, and trust you." So
Know, like, and trust you.
Yep.
So what do you do? Like if you're, in my case, like I'm an entertainer, so I have a lot of fans. I can't keep up with.
Yeah,
whatever.
you're so popular.
No, it's not. I'm not. When you think about it, there's some of my students who I brought into comedy have a lot more followers, because I'm focused more at the end of my shows or whatever I'm doing. At the end, I would love to share Jesus. I want to
Right.
give the gospel message.
Right.
So sometimes it's between me telling people to go my social media or giving the gospel message.
Right.
And I go for the gospel message.
Right, because that's your CTA.
Yeah.
That's your call to action.
Yes.
It's a marketing term. So your call to action is be a Jesus follower, accept Jesus in your life, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So your bounty is in heaven, right? Because you're building the kingdom of heaven.
I have a lot of followers in heaven.
Right.
I do. I hope so.
You do. I love that, right? And you will be blessed accordingly. But for the rest of the they're not as blessed as you are that does that for their business. Their call to action can be take advantage of this offer, or here's a chance to communicate with me in a way, like have a conversation. So is that what you were asking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, is that what you do? Like, let's say someone. Yeah, because we comedians are not normal. We're weird. A normal person who is like uses Facebook and maybe has a product. Let's say a mom starting to sell.
Sure.
What do you think? The best way is just to develop the relationships with her followers.
Yeah, exactly. Like present what you do, make it very clear. Right? Don't offer a lot of, noise. Just be really clear. Like, yeah, this is what I do. Right? And if you're interested in asking me about it, I'm here. But you're not chasing people down the street, right? You're waiting for people to come to you, because people have a choice now in regards to just like the old days. It used to be like you would put an ad in a newspaper and hope that somebody would call you, right?
Right.
or you put an ad on a TV show and hope that they would call you. Well, now people say, you know, I'm interested in this, like even like Google News, you can actually tell it what you're interested in learning about every day, and you filter out all the noise that you don't want to know about. So we don't want customers who don't want us. So what we're trying to do is find customers who want what we have, and then we provide it the best way we can, right? And provide so much value and so much so many resources to them that it would be silly to buy it from anybody else.
That's very smart. That's very smart. I had.
Well, you know, my company name is another brilliant idea.
Oh, that's why.
So there's a lot of pressure there. I have to always come up with another brilliant idea.
Here's one of my jokes that I've done, and I really believe. I mean, I'm not. I said people think that they have social media, and now, oh wow, this is amazing. We had that. If you lived you had a big family and you had a reunion. This is what you always have the Yelp person. That it's the end that tells you if a restaurant is good or bad. Oh, don't go there. They're crooks. They don't like you.
Yeah.
Then we have the Twitter uncle, the one that when they first see you, hey, did you know what Trump did? Did you know what happened in the news? They're always telling the news. Then there's the Instagram cousins always checking herself in the mirror and taking pictures. There's the Google Map relative that's always trying to give you direction. Oh, let me tell you how to get there. You take the street, you make a right.
Or what to do in your life. Yeah.
What to do in your life, yes. Then there's a WebMD relative that's always trying to prescribe oh, I know what you have. You need this medicine. Being Middle Eastern, all my family are physicians, but they never finished high school. I mean, I have an uncle. He gave me. I said one time I had a headache. He gave me. Oh, those the doctor gave me for my stomach 6 years ago. Try them; they'll work.
Or Windex for your elbow.
Oh,
remember from My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Oh,
his cure-all was Windex.
Windex. No, it was Bengay for my family. I don't. Then there is a Google relative, okay, knows everything and helps you find it. Then there's a Facebook relative who's always commenting on everything. I don't like this. I don't like what he did. Then the Spotify relative who's always singing. And finally, the Snapchat grandpa who remembers stuff for a few minutes, then forgets it forever. And that's
it's so true. Oh my gosh, you nailed it.
That's
I love
our
that.
social media. Now, I have a question for you. What do you talked about loneliness, and that's kind of is social media causing that, or is it a solution for loneliness?
I actually think it's a solution. But if you are in a place mentally where you have that whole FOMO, fear of missing out, and you're looking at other people's pictures and it makes you feel bad, then you probably shouldn't use social media. If that's where you are in your head space, right? If you're always wishing for more, wanting more. But I always tell my students that be careful what you click on, right? So if you click on things that are negative and hate related or whatever, your Facebook is just saying, hey, that's what you're interested in. We're going to serve you more. So you're going to get more negativity, more icky stuff, right? But if you only click on positive, joyful, you only follow people who encourage and inspire and motivate, that's all you're going to see in your feed. So you have to be careful about that. But when you're talking about loneliness, I just think it's such a great opportunity for people who are housebound, or maybe they just don't have the resources to be able to get out into the world. It's a great way for them to interact with people maybe they haven't seen since they were children, especially for seniors. They have friends who moved all over the country after college or marriage and retirement, and they have a chance to connect with them and create groups, and just have really deep connections. They can send, do video messaging on their messenger platform.
How do they do that?
So easy. You just click on the little message button like you would do direct mail somebody, and when it opens up, there's a little button in there that looks like a video camera. You click on that, and it instantly calls the person on the other end on Facebook, and they have a choice to accept or not. It's just like the Jetsons. Remember?
I remember, yeah.
George Jetson, right? So it's those days. And now the filters, like using something like Snap Filter, you can actually show up with, a beautiful makeup on, and you don't even have to do anything, or a new hairdo. Like you could have long, glorious locks on the camera.
We're done. Let me go. There's people I don't want to call because they don't know I lost hair. No,
I'll do a whole tutorial on it. That's all good.
That is interesting.
Yes.
An awkward moment in your life. What something happened that was
an awkward moment in my
or
life?
Or funny moment or
something.
something.
My goodness, on the spot here. So many.
So many?
Yeah, I put my foot in it all the time, Naz. I'm just one of those outspoken people, so I'm always like, oh. Oh, gosh. Let me think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have 3 kids, right? They point out all your foibles.
Oh, they do.
Don't they? Right?
Oh.
Like, what did I do without you? Sharing what I need to improve on. I really appreciate that.
My son is like me. He's funny. He opened for us the show, Killed. People loved him.
Awesome.
But he's the same personality. So he's always like looking at what I'm doing and like
Critiquing.
critiquing, like, hey, don't do that, don't say that. Right. And I'm the guy that's like, hey, how are you? Come here, give me a hug. I don't know you, but give me a hug. He's like, Dad, don't do that. But it's funny, you'd like he did a movie for Biola.
Oh, wow.
He's graduating next December.
Nice.
And he did a movie, and it's called Mallory, and you'd like a kid because it was about this federal agent who spies on people through their computers. To find out. So he's checking people out and finding out from that little hole in the phone, the camera, he sees
Red
it.
dot.
And he likes this girl and falls in love with her just watching her action.
Oh.
She likes kombucha, so he drinks kombucha. She likes this, he likes that. So he sent her a pizza one day, and then he buys a pizza, and he's like having a date with her.
Oh.
And he's telling his friends he has a date with her.
Oh. And she doesn't even know he exists?
She doesn't know he exists.
Oh.
But he thinks he's in this relationship with her. So what happened is one day she has this guy at home, and the guy goes, "Hey, be careful. Put a tape on this because people can see you."
Right.
So she puts the tape. So he's crushed. He's brokenhearted. So he drives down all the way to Los Angeles where she lives.
Oh, my goodness.
And while she's gone, her and her roommate, he goes into the apartment and removes the tape. And while he's coming out on the stairs in the apartment, she's coming up and she looks at him. She goes, "Hey, nice shirt." And she's ready to talk to him. And he doesn't.
Oh.
And he goes home.
Oh, no.
Gets his ear computer.
Oh.
And it was the story of like how we are satisfied with this imaginary fake relationship.
Right.
That we have all these followers and liking us, and it won 8 film awards already.
Wow, that is awesome.
It's called Mallory. It's still in the rotations of new other films, so it's not publicly out, but I've told you the story.
Yeah, no, I think that's brilliant. My daughter was an electronic media and film major, and her group project won an Emmy.
Really?
College, right? I know, it's amazing. And she's looking for a job to be a producer on television, theater, or movies.
So if
I'm
anybody
putting it out
here,
there.
yes, anybody. What are you working on right now? What is the project you're working on right now?
Awesome. Well, I have a variety of things that I do. Our company, again, is Another Brilliant Idea. You can find more at anotherbrilliantidea.com. But I have a passion project, which is really training people on how to use social media to really, as I said, show up, be brave, and be seen as the expert in their industry. And if I'm offering a scholarship to my social expert camp for only $1. And if people text the word expert to the number 71441, they'll actually get a link to that and they can join. And for 30 days, it's only $1. And then if they want to continue, no contracts, it's $37 a month. But every week I go in and I train on LinkedIn or Instagram or on Facebook, and I keep people up to date on what to do, because I really feel like the tools are out there and I want to empower people to really use them to explode their business. Like Facebook Live changed my life. Like I am able to connect with more people in an instant way, where people ask questions. I pop their questions up on the screen. I use a product called Be Live TV, and it's amazing. And what I have found is I actually read the study that the human brain, if you're looking at a screen, kind of like the Mallory movie, if you're seeing somebody, the whites of their eyes, looking at them at the screen, they compute that they're actually sitting across the table from you. And if you're answering their questions, even through a screen, they feel like they have a relationship with you. So when I do these trainings on a live broadcast, it has blown up my business. And I met the woman who actually was on the Facebook Live team, Randy Zuckerberg, last weekend. She's Mark's little sister or big sister, I'm not sure. Absolutely adorable. You would love her. She's so talented. She actually sings, and she was in musical theater.
She's Mark's sister.
It's Mark's sister, right? And so I actually shook her hand and thanked her personally for leading the Facebook Live charge, because that was her division. And then
Oh.
she just left Facebook to do her own thing. She's a philanthropist, and she actually funded. She's an Emmy award winning or Tony award winning producer. She funded the two that won Hades and Oklahoma. Were her shows on Broadway this past season. But anyway, so yeah, she's a Renaissance woman for sure. But that's the thing. Like, we need to take these tools, they're free, and use them to either help build the kingdom of the Lord, right? And use those tools for his glory, or use them to build our business, which will give us more resources so we can help the kingdom further. I mean, there's so much we can do. But people are a little nervous about it. They're like, I don't know about this. I don't want. So my whole thing about Social Expert Camp is I want to take people and make them experts, but not just in social, all forms of business. Because I've been in business now. This is my 31st year, and I'm only 32.
I know.
Right?
Metric, right?
Well,
No, no. It's that's
Oh,
better.
did you
No.
hear that?
No,
Did you-
no. That's better.
Oh, is
that's
it?
like 25.
Oh, nice save. Nice save.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's true. I'm 31 metric.
That's awesome. That's great. But it's like I want to give everybody the resources because, my business has ups, like all of our lives, right? It's
Yes.
ups and downs, and I want to help people skip over the down parts and go right to the ups. So if I can teach that, it brings me absolute joy. But the other side of our business is more of a consultative. So people will say, oh, my website doesn't drive any traffic to my thing. I don't have SEO, and I need to use chatbots, and I have to get emails out. I have to do that, right? I'm like, don't worry. I have a team that'll come in and say, okay, what do you want to do? And then we build a team and we do it all for you. So social media marketing and management, all that kind of fun stuff. So those are really our two camps of what we do.
And one of the things our Laughter for All ministry used through you is like when people we do a stadium event and we have 5,000 people. Not all of them gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna come forward and accept Christ," or "I'm gonna." So what we do is they can text a number and it says, I said I prayed the prayer or I did that, and what happened is we get their information. We send them a text that says, hey, click on this link, and it takes them to Harvest Christian Fellowship, Harvest Crusades.
Right.
So there's pastors are following up with them. Or sometimes people want to give a love gift, so we've just put love gift to this number, and then, people give through that. So it's really,
Right.
it's
In fact,
really
we should tell
helpful.
people how they can be a part of that.
Tell them.
So you could actually do the same number, 71441. You just text the word NAZ, N-A-Z, and it'll enter you into NAZ's database, and then he can start sending you messages about donating money or when his next event is. So
I forgot
we've
that.
been a
I
sponsor
have
of
that.
yours for
That's right.
years, Naz. And I'm always like, Naz, use it.
I know, that's the thing. And we don't... This is...
And you totally forgot about it. So so to 71441, to say if you've already texted the word expert, you've probably been asked to give your email and your name so I could personalize your messages. So after you've done all that, then text just the letters NAZ to the same number, hit send, and then now Naz will be able to send you information about how you can help further the kingdom of the Lord.
That's wonderful. Tell me about Instagram. That's where all my kids are at.
Okay.
That's where... How can we use Instagram? I mean, if you're not, look good in I don't look good in a bathing suit, and I'm not gonna just take pictures. I saw a teenager the other day carrying 2 pieces of luggage and nowhere to set him down. I felt so sorry for her, so I went and said, "Excuse me," and I did a selfie for her. I took a selfie because she needs to let her friends know what she's doing. She was so happy. I always say I'm a creationist, not an because if evolution is true, all our teenagers will have 3 arms, one for the phone, one for the Starbucks, and one for the vape.
Oh.
I know that's
Stop the vape, guys. It hurts
You know
them
what?
so
I
bad.
was listening to somebody the other day talking about vape. We can talk about anything in this subject. He said, who's going with the campaign against the vape? The cigarette companies. Because they
Wow.
know people will have to go back to smoking if they can't vape.
Right. Well, the cigarette companies all have their own, the vape companies. Like, it's all in one. It's just nicotine in a different format.
Right.
But the challenge is they make it taste really yummy. And so the kids are like, ooh, it's candy. It's like smoked candy. And so the younger they use it, but it actually like starts deteriorating their lungs. And they don't realize it because, they're kids and like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm invincible, And his parents were like, don't do it, which of course the kids are like, you're not going to tell me. You're not the boss of me, right?
Right.
So it's just this endless cycle. But what they need to do is see the horror pictures. I mean, I just saw something on Facebook yesterday of this poor kid with like this ventilator, and she was holding up a sign saying, "Please don't vape."
I saw that one. Yeah.
Did you? Oh gosh, it made me give me chills. But that's the thing. I mean, it's something where it does give them a little bit of a high, and and make them feel it's just like we have a glass of wine, right, or a cup of coffee, and it gives them that little instant bump, and they don't realize that they now have to have that bump, and they can't deal without the bump, so they have to really just go cold turkey on it. Instagram. Sorry, went off on that.
No, I took you off. I'm good at that.
Yes.
I'm ADD. I'll take you anywhere.
I love it. Instagram is awesome because it's visual and there's not a lot of noise on the side. So I think that's kind of why a lot of the quote younger generation has gone to that, because it is much more like what they want and not all the stuff that's going on, the noise. But Instagram is basically visual, right? And the cool thing about Instagram, it was built on the kind of the indexing feature of hashtags. So people always ask, what's the good about hashtags? Well, hashtags actually can help you get found on Instagram. They really aren't used much on Facebook, even though they're owned by the same guy. But it's a really great tool. So you could actually have a picture of yourself doing something, funny or weird or whatever. It doesn't even matter. And then your hashtag might say, local comedian or clean comedian, let's say, right? Then when people are looking for clean comedians to hire, they're going to look at that hashtag, they're going to search for it, and then it's going to bring up everybody who ever put clean comedians on their thing.
You think people look for products on Instagram?
Oh, 100%.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's neck and neck. Well, Pinterest is actually moving forward past it as a selling platform.
Really?
Yeah.
Pinterest
is actually the third biggest search engine. It goes Google, YouTube, Pinterest. And Pinterest is selling more products than, they're like competing with Amazon. But Instagram has now clickable links to go directly to products. So you can actually put links on your products in your pictures to have people buy them.
Take it to your site.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And with stories combined on top of it, they kind of stole that from Snapchat. Stories actually gets you behind the scenes of how a product is made, or people using the products, or testimonies, and people really love. It's just human nature, right? We were growing up, our parents read a story to us before bed.
Right.
We love stories, and that's the other thing with marketing. If you can tell a story, and that's why you're so good at what you do, Naz, because you tell stories, but they're funny. Right? But people get sucked into a story. They want to hear what happens. And so when using stories with Instagram, people are like, ooh, I want to see more. I want to, even if it's just walking in your backyard, like, look at this cool flower. Oh my gosh, there's flowers on my product, or, whatever it is. Like, it can tie even the most remote thing. But people just want to be a part of it. They want to have that pride of ownership that they're part of something bigger than themselves. Which I think it makes it popular.
Well, let's talk about Instagram, the bad thing about Instagram. Before, my wife, when we went to weddings, she would buy this nice dress, she would wear it. Then we go to a different wedding somewhere else, nobody from the first wedding is there. Then she wears it again. Now she can't because everybody has saw it on Instagram. So now she has to buy a dress every single wedding. That's number one. Number two.
So that's what husbands don't like. Instagram.
That's what the husbands don't like.
Got it.
Another thing, and that's not my wife. Some wives, they write how much they love their husband when on their birthday or anniversary. Right. You're the greatest man. I love you so much. And he reads it and he comes home. He goes, "Thank you, honey. I didn't do it for you. I did it because I want to top my friends who wrote about their husband."
She's not supposed to tell him that.
And then the next year, she has to come up with more stuff.
Even more.
And I saw this. This is funny, I think. This guy keeps writing. Okay, he writes to her in his anniversary or his wife's birthday, how much he loves her, how much he enjoy being with her. And she is the solid thing in his life. And he just loves every minute with her. Then the entire year, he's fishing by himself. He's golfing by himself. There's no pictures of him and his wife. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So true. I made a funny meme for Valentine's Day for my husband, and it said, and it's a common phrase, but my husband never heard it, and I think I hurt his feelings. It said, there's no one I'd rather sit in bed with on our phones than you. Happy Valentine's Day. And so he didn't know that was a funny meme. Like that, it was already viral. I just copied, the phrase, and I put our picture with it.
And he got mad.
And he's like, what? What are you doing? And I'm like, it's a joke. It's a joke. But we do sit in bed next to our phones. Come on.
Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, me and my ma, like, excuse me, you're on your phone too. Okay. Or text, hey.
My kids tell me all the time. Yeah.
Look at me. I'm here.
Right.
I do that to my kids. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah. I'll actually call them for dinner by text. They don't answer when you yell at them. Like, hello. They're like,
They don't.
right? Oh, I'm sorry. My daughter
And they're
wasn't.
walking like this. They said, is it true that our kids later on in life, they're all going to be bent from here?
I'm sure. Yeah, that hump.
That's all they're looking at.
Yeah.
So what does your husband do?
My husband works with me. I hire.
Oh, Steve. I know
You
Steve.
know Steve?
I call
Yeah.
him when I have a problem.
That's right.
And I call him 5 minutes. Hi, Steve. We have a stadium full of people here, and I'm trying to do this text. How can I do that? And he's like, okay, give me 2 minutes, and he fixes
Yeah,
it.
he's amazing.
Is
He's
he the
absolutely-
quiet guy? Because you're
Yes.
the upbeat, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the woo woo, and he's the salt. He's the this constant in the storm, and yeah, he does all our production. He's the CFO of our company. He is the rock that I have that basically manages and does everything. So yeah, all of our clients, he's their best friend because anytime they need anything, and it's usually 2 minutes before they need to do so. It's pretty funny because we build apps, we have the texting platform, we do all these different things. So when it needs to be done, and he doesn't get distracted like I do because I'm always like, oh, we could do this and we could do this, we could do that. And Steve's like, just give me a list, and he's like, whack, bam, 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 bam.
not me.
He's so good at that.
I'm you. I'm just you. I was like, blah, blah, blah,
But I
let's
bet
do
your wife is like that.
My wife is very focused.
Yes.
She's very, she can sit for 2 hours and read the Bible and pray.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
if I don't get my hour in the Bible in the morning,
Right.
the rest of the day, I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah, shiny object syndrome.
Like,
Bing,
yeah.
bing, bing, bing. Yeah.
Now, as a mother of 3 daughters,
Yes.
what do you tell?
And son. I have a
You have
boy
a son?
sandwich.
A
Yes,
boy sandwich
My
in
my boy
between.
sandwich. Cameron is 21. He's killing the game. He is like such a hard worker. Works in an aerospace company. Goes to school at night. He has all these dreams of, buying real estate and just becoming this mogul so he can take care of his wonderful mother.
Oh.
I'm just projecting that, but he's told me that in fleeting moments, and I'm holding him to it.
Okay. Now, what do you tell not younger mothers whose kids are still at home?
Mm-hmm.
Is social media what's balance? What's okay? What is because that's the generation. That's all they have.
Right.
Like, what do you tell her? What advice do you give out to a mom who have?
Well, it depends on how old their kids are. You definitely have to teach balance, right? So they shouldn't have their phones plugged in their rooms. Get them an old-fashioned, digital clock to have their alarm in the room because they'll always use the excuse, well, I have my alarms on my phone. My kids have gotten away with that. Now that they're older, it's that's their thing. If you choose to do that, okay. But when they're little, we had plugged them outside. We had a little
You
charging
plug them
station.
outside,
Not in the
your
house,
room.
not in the
Inside,
room,
yeah.
right in the hallway. And then they were only supposed to be on social media for a certain amount of time when they were younger.
What's a good? What's the balance time? What's a good time?
Well, you could break. I mean, you could do a chunk of time if you want, like after school. That's a reward after they get their homework done. They can actually go on. Again, it all depends on their age. Kids under 12 really shouldn't be on social media, even under 13, because when they're in that developmental stage, they don't understand. That whole movie Mean Girls, right? That is just like a built-in mechanism that sometimes they can't even control, and they feel bad later on in life when they realize, oh my God, I can't believe I said those things, or I can't believe I acted that way, because their little synapses hadn't fully formed yet. But when they start going on social media and doing that whole going to keep up with the Kardashians, or they have such a superficial view of the world because they just don't get it yet. And it's not that they're dumb or they're whatever, they're just not fully developed yet. And so we need to give our kids that ability to learn how to deal in the real world with people, and then eventually start moving on. But it's going to be hard because all their friends are on it and they won't want to be left out of anything. But the challenge is at that age, they see their friend out at a movie with another friend, their world disintegrates.
Yes. Yes, they
And-
feel so hurt. Like,
Yeah, and even at our age, we do. Like, I remember I went through a phase where it was like I would see my friends going. Now I was traveling; there was no way I could be there anyway. But I'd be like, "Oh, my
unfollow
friends."
them. That's
Yeah.
what I do. You're done, buddy. If you
Drop
don't
'em like a
have
hot
my
potato.
picture and said my best friend, I'm not. What about the 16-year-old? How much time should they? What's a good?
16 depends. Again, it all depends on every family. You have to kind of know your kids. If they're well grounded, and they have a good balance and they are confident in themselves, obviously they can have more time.
An
But if they're-
Amish family.
Yeah.
Oh, they.
There
don't
you
have-
go. Yeah.
that's
But
it.
I'm just saying, if you know your kid, like they're really anxious or they're really insecure and they just don't have that social the stigma. You know your kid. They should be on it less because that's only it's only going to drive them crazy, and they're never going to be happy. And the statistics for suicide are just going up and up and up. Where kids look and say, "I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. Look what they're doing, and I'm not doing that." And it puts so much pressure on them that's not necessary. They need to go outside and climb a tree. Build a fort. Use their imagination and that kind of. And I know it's hard because kids are like, "No, I want to be on there." But you know what? Get on the floor with them. Build the fort with them. Don't sit on your phone and tell your kids they can't be on theirs.
Right.
That's a good lead by example. Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah, and have like an hour of reading where you're actually reading a real book together. Your book and their book. It's just they see you doing it, they're going to want to do whatever you do.
But some parents, they feel, hey, that will save me time. I can be focused on my stuff, not them. But
it'll bite them in the butt later.
You said something funny at that conference. You said, like, whatever you put now, when you're a grandma, it's still there.
Yeah, never do anything that might embarrass your grandchildren. So the example I use is, because they always say, "Oh, don't do anything to embarrass your mom and dad." The kids are like, yeah, whatever. But if you think of yourself, I have this talk called How to Use Social Media to Get into the College or Career of Your Dreams, and I speak for districts and schools. Anyways, and I tell the kids, just think about this. Let's fast forward 50, 60 years. You have an apron on, you're mixing cookies in the kitchen, the Christmas music's on, the kids are around the tree, and in comes little Johnny running in with this little cell phone, which has a holographic image, because that's going to come.
Right.
Holographic image of you in a tube top and a red Solo cup smoking something, and goes, "Grandma, Grandpa, what is this? Is this you?" And you're like, ugh. Your eyes get big. You're like, right?
That's exactly right.
Yes, and so you want to leave a legacy of positivity and class. So think of that when you're about to. Think before you post.
That's very, very funny. And you know what? What do you call it? I wanted to, like one time I was, what do you call it? I fasted from, like we have the 40-day fast.
Yeah.
And I encourage that to people. My daughter right now, she said, "I'm going off social media for 40 days."
Awesome. Good.
And, after the second or third day, I had those withdrawals.
Yeah.
I was like, my fingers, like, I got to click something. I'm opening magazines, clicking. I like it. Show me your dog.
Do you know that they actually sell a wooden cell phone-shaped block that for people who have withdrawals to hold in their hand?
Really?
It says it's wood.
It's
shiny and it's smooth and it looks like a cell phone. And they carry it around like a binky.
Just so you can,
Just so you have that in your hand, because there is withdrawals. It's so true, right? But then after you get over that hump, right, you go to the 21st day, and then it's like, oh, okay. And then it gets less and less important to you. Unless, of course, like me, who I handle people's social media, I have to be on it every day. But I totally get it. Like sometimes it's like I get tired of it. In fact, because I do it for other people, sometimes I don't check in myself and I don't look at other people. And they're like, "Why didn't you see that? You're on social media all the time." And I'm like, "I'm so sorry. I haven't spent the time looking at it." So yeah, it is amazing how we get sucked in, like in any addiction.
How can people get a hold of you?
They can text the word expert to the number 71441. Or they can go to my website, anotherbrilliantidea.com.
Anotherbrilliantidea.com.
Because everyone needs another brilliant idea.
That's right. And you're really good at what you do. And people, if you want to jump in your business, if you're a speaker, if you're an entertainer, if you're a business person, if you're just starting your own business, if you have a message that you want to get across,
yes,
Mobile Mary can really, really help you. And I want to thank you for being with us today.
You're so
we're
welcome.
friends, and really, I learned from you. So thank you for giving our listeners a lot of advice.
Of course. I just want to make sure that they know that this is something I teach in my camp all the time, and I think it really needs to be said and sunk in, is that if you have a business, you literally are the answer to someone's prayer out there.
Wow.
So you have to let that sink in. You're the answer to someone's prayer, right? Even if you're like a carpet cleaner, someone might be going, "Oh my gosh, I've got a big party on Saturday and I just wish I had a carpet cleaner I know will come in and make my carpet look pretty," right? They're saying that's a prayer, right? A wish, however you want to say it, but they have a desire for what you have. Maybe you're a consultant and you can help people get over a breakthrough that's going to help them in their life. But they're thinking, if I only knew someone right? So if you show up on social media and you show who you are authentically, and you are provide the resources to people and just be real, people are going to be drawn to you. People are going to refer people to you because they're like, wow, I love what Naz does. You need to follow him. You need to go to his concerts. You need to because people are going to be like, yeah, because they want to believe in someone and what they offer. So remember that you are the answer to someone's prayer. And if you keep your light under a bushel, no one will know.
Exactly.
So get out there and show up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being on this show.
You're so welcome.
In closing, I want to remind you, if you know anybody in the San Diego area, if you live in the San Diego area, on October 18th, we're doing the Laughter for All outreach at Maranatha Chapel. It seats 2,900, so we want to fill it completely. We want to invite, and this is what we did last Friday, and we're going to do it again at Maranatha, is we do 2 hours of comedy and music, first with music, then comedy, and then at the end, I give the gospel message, so give good news, and we do something, we empower believers to go out and share their faith with 7 people in 12 months. It's called Change California. So if you know anybody, you can go to laughterforall.org and click on that date and just secure your free tickets on Eventbrite. It's just secure them.
Awesome. Or text Naz to someone 441 and you'll get the link.
You'll get the link. And then in closing, join us next Monday for another podcast. And next Monday, I think Ken Davis, comedian, speaker, one of the best communicators you will ever hear. He's going to be with us. And then share it with your friends. If you enjoyed, if you learned something, if you were encouraged by something today, can you tell your friends about it, to subscribe to the podcast, to join the podcast? Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Comedian Nazareth, on Twitter at Nazman, Nazzman, and LinkedIn under Nazareth R. So you can also enjoy some of the videos on YouTube, and also this every podcast we do here live on Facebook, we also put it on Instagram. So if you on YouTube, so if you missed it, you can watch it. So I'm Comedian Nazareth. Until next time, keep on laughing. It's good for you. Makes you look younger. Love you.